There is no Apex involved. We're not writing any Apex. I just want to share some terminologies that other consultants and developers might be using. And when they do that, we need to understand what they are referring to. In Salesforce, you could create two types of automations to run when a record is created or updated. You could create a flow, a record triggered flow, or you could create an Apex trigger. An Apex is Salesforce programming language. And if you create any of those two, you will have to specify the context in which they are running. And the context is either fast field updates or actions and related records for flows, or it is before save or after save for Apex, which these things are almost identical. Like the fast field updates and before save are almost identical. Actions and related records and after save are almost identical. There are some differences such as the order of execution. Fast field update flow runs before save Apex trigger. If you create a record and you save it, then and you happen to have two automations, one is a fast field updates flow and the other is a before save trigger on the same object, then which one is going to run first? It's fast field updates, and then Apex trigger is going to run second. So there are some differences like this but for the most part, they are similar in the sense that fast field updates is going to run first, and then actions and related records. Before save updates are going to run first before after save context. Now, I just wanted you to know the terminologies here. We're going to talk about the technical differences in a second. So one thing to know is that another consultant is going to say things like, this is a before save flow. So when people say that, we know that they mean fast field updates flow. And when someone says this is an after save flow, or this is a flow that's running in after save context, then you would know that they are referring to actions and related records. We'll talk about the technical differences now. In Salesforce, or really in any system, we have a database. And I'd like to think that the database has two sections or two spaces, the saved section and the committed section. I think there is no sections in the databases, I'm not sure, but I like to think of it this way. There is the saved section and there is the committed section. And you have a record, let's say an opportunity record or a gift transaction record. And you give it a name. Now you go ahead, like if you were to create these things manually, you create a new gift transaction, you give it some name, and then you don't set an amount is 0, and then you click save. At that point, this is when fast field update flows run. So you click save, the fast field updates flow runs. At this point, there is nothing in the database yet. So the flow ran and there is nothing, that record is not in the database yet. After this flow is successful, let's say that we set this flow to update the amount from 0 to 50. So the flow updates the amount, and then at that point, after this flow runs, the record gets sent to the database in the section saved. After it goes to the saved section, now it has gone to the database. Then if we had a second flow on the same object that's running in actions and related records, this is when it's going to run. So fast field updates ran upon clicking save and before getting sent to the database, before getting saved to the database. After it got saved in the database, actions and related records flow ran. What we're talking about here is called order of execution. When do automations and triggers and flows run, and which ones run first? Okay, after it got saved to the database, actions and related records flows ran, and then this flow could be successful or it could fail. And similar to fast field updates, if the actions and related records is successful, then it is moved in the database from a saved status to a committed status. If it fails, then it's gonna get rolled back out of the database. Now the database became empty again, and then that error shows up. Now, when to use each one of those, when to use a fast field updates flow and when to use a record triggered flow, actions and related records context. One significant difference is that the fast field updates flow would make changes or updates to the triggering record only, because of two main reasons. Or probably I could say it's only one reason. We don't have access to system information yet. Remember, when fast field updates runs, the record is not in the database yet, meaning there is no record ID. This is like the biggest reason. There is no record ID yet. We also don't have access to last modified date. It's not modified in the database yet. We don't have access to the created date. Again, it's not created in the database yet. You can't create related records. If you have like a gift transaction and you're trying to create a child record, like a gift refund or an opportunity line item, if you were creating an opportunity, then you need the opportunity ID or the gift transaction ID. And because it has not been saved to the database base yet, we do not have the record ID. So rule of thumb is to always create fast field updates. And if it doesn't let you do what you're trying to do, then this is when you know that you need to go with actions and related records.